Things that people hate are things like this, or this, or this. We all hate the blue shell and we all lost so many races because of it. Today I want to show you 19 ways to dodge a blue shell and help you lose fewer races. This video is split into two parts. One part with methods using items and the second part without using items. I made something like a ranking system, so the further you in the video, the better methods await you. And I also have an announcement to make at the end, so better don't stop watching the video or else I'd be really mad at you. Also don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you want more videos like this, and if you even leave a comment, you're a certified cool person and I probably respond to it as well, so don't be afraid of doing so. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. I'll start with methods using items. Of course, there's the easy and obvious method. Just use the super horn. You can sometimes get it in first place, but it's pretty rare. Once you have it, hold on to it, and when the blue shell is about to strike, blow it up into 1000 pieces. This is easily the best method to dodge the shell, as the timing is pretty generous. But if the blue shell wants to end your life and you don't have a super horn, there are some other things you could do. The second item is going to be the green shell. But it's really hard to do this method properly and it isn't usually that worthy. Getting hit by a green shell or even a red shell isn't as bad as getting hit by a blue shell. The blue shell forces you to a complete stop, while a green or red shell allows you to still slightly move forward and you can accelerate a little faster. But getting hit by your own green shell on purpose is damn difficult. Sometimes you're lucky and the player behind you throws a red shell at you, and if the timing is right, let it hit you and you lose a little bit less time compared to a hit by a blue shell. This works because after a hit you have some invincibility frames for about 2 to 3 seconds, and the blue shell explosion doesn't hurt you if you already took damage a few frames ago. Alright. Here are 4 more items that'll help you dodge a blue shell. And yes, there's a reason why I mentioned 4 items at once. Problem with these items is that you can get them only when you're really far behind and you usually have to do some item smuggling. The first item is the star. This star makes you invincible to everything, including the blue shell. So go ahead and smuggle some stars to first place. Second item is the bullet bill. It not only makes you really fast, it gives you invincibility too. Third item will be the boo. The boo makes you invincible, and it steals an item from a driver in front of you. Also, if there is nobody in front of you or nobody in front of you has an item, the boo will always give you a mushroom. So you could potentially dodge the blue shell with the boo itself and potentially dodge another blue shell with the mushroom the boo just gave you. Things that never happen. Don't worry, I'll explain later what the mushroom is all about. The fourth item is the Crazy 8. The Crazy 8 is one of the rarest items in the game, and bringing it to the front without hitting other people is really hard, as people might steal the star or the mushroom, or they hit the bomb and everything explodes. But once you made it and even dodged the blue shell with the star or the mushroom, I will get to that later, you're the coolest person on earth for a few seconds. Bananas are great. You can dodge red shells, snipe other people, and you can even dodge the blue shell, at least partially. Just throw your banana forwards and drive right into it when the blue shell arrives. Getting hit by a banana is way better than a blue shell hit, as the banana doesn't take all your speed and you can accelerate much faster. Sometimes there are already bananas on the road, so use them to your advantage. Using mushrooms instantly boosts you to top speed, which you can use to dodge yet another ugly blue shell. Using the mushroom at just the right time will allow you to escape from the explosion that the blue shell creates. Unfortunately, you can't get a mushroom in first place, so you have to hold on to the shroom and overtake the guy in first somehow. But mushrooms in second place are pretty common, so bringing them to first is not an impossible task. You can also use a golden mushroom if you manage to smuggle it to first place without a shock or something. The timing to dodge a blue shell is pretty precise, but I've already made a short explanation video on how to dodge the shell with the mushroom. Just click right here on the info button or use the first link in the description. I'm sure it'll help you out if you don't know about the right timing. Alright, done with the item methods. Moving on to methods without using items. And remember, the methods go from kinda useful to pretty useful. For this one you just have to be lucky. There's not really anything you can do to affect this, but sometimes you prepare yourself that your life will probably be over and then someone uses a shock and you dodge the blue shell because of it. Of course you'll lose your items and you go very slow for a few seconds, but so will your opponents, if they didn't have a star or something. So it's usually better than getting hit by the blue shell and everyone's overtaking you. Simply, if you're holding the blue shell, you can't get hit by it, as there can only be one blue shell at a time, and if you have it, no one else can get it, and you won't blow yourself up, right? It's just really hard to get a blue shell and bringing it all the way to the front, and it's usually not that worthy because there's always a shock ruining everything. And you also don't have anything to protect yourself from red shells or other items, so good luck trying this method. This method only really applies to Yoshi Valley. The blue shell usually takes this route, and if you're on a different path it may pass you. But it doesn't work 100% of the time for some reason. I guess it depends on your position on the different path or something. One time the shell also passed me on Calamari Desert as well. I think it happened because the ramp from lap 2 was still there for the blue shell, which should explain why the shell dropped like this. So going for this path on lap 3 instead of this path can result in blue shell dodge. Sometimes you may get confused because the blue shell just randomly disappeared while trying to reach first place. The main reason for this is that someone destroyed the blue shell with a super horn. It usually happens by accident, but you can actually use this the intended way in team mode to protect your mate from getting screwed. Just use this super horn when the blue shell passes you, usually in the middle of the track, and break it into 1000 pieces. Your mate will thank you. Sometimes it's better to just fall off. If done correctly, it can save you a little bit of time, but it's not that easy to do, and you don't even have invincibility frames after Lucky 2 picked you up, which can cause you to lose time from falling off, and you also take the hit from the blue shell. And sometimes you don't know where Lucky 2 is going to take you, and it turns out he puts your teammates behind. So it's up to you if you want to use this strat. Outrunning the blue shell is very hard, and it's only possible on certain tracks on 200cc, but I've seen people doing it on tracks like Mute City and Toad's Turnpike. This is possible because the blue shell locks onto you when it's close enough, and this slows the blue shell down somehow. It is also in the air now and no longer on the ground where it could hit other people. This can also be done with red shells. This is easier because red shells despawn earlier than the blue shell. The blue shell itself will try to hit you for about a lap, then it'll just despawn. But remember, this is only possible on 200cc. Here's an example of outrunning a blue shell by Yoshi King 75. I wasn't able to do a clip by myself. The original video is linked in the description.
Why are you running? I'm back as fuck, boy.
Sometimes you're flying, and if you get hit by any item in midair, your card will just spin out and you don't take the full damage. This applies to red or green shells, bombs and the blue shell. So if you're about to get hit by the blue shell or any other item while gliding, try to stay in the air as long as possible to reduce the damage. But it's probably not valuable when you're falling into a pit and Lucky 2 has to rescue you. In those cases, it's probably better to wait, take the hit and then take the glider, but this is pretty situational. This is one of the best methods. I use this whenever I can to reduce damage. Just run straight into a track obstacle and you'll save so much time. Track obstacles usually don't take all your speed and yet again, you accelerate a lot faster. Sadly, it doesn't work every time because some obstacles will be sent flying by the blue shell and you can't hit the obstacle anymore. Other obstacles you can use are, for example, fire, the penguin, those trams, and many more things. You probably know about this method. Just don't be first and let another player take the hit for you. If you're in first and the player in second isn't that far behind, break before the blue shell arrives and make this person mad at you. You can see the blue shell on the minimap, so look out for that. Another option is to just stay in second the whole race, wait for the blue shell to come along and take over first place. And that was 19 ways to dodge a blue shell in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But wait, there's still the announcement that I mentioned at the beginning. I now have a Discord server. I know there's probably no one out there who is willing to join, but maybe there's still 1 or 2 people who are interested. I have some great things planned for the future, so feel free to join. Link is in the description. That's it for today. Don't forget to like, comment and... oh, never mind. No one will ever see this. Bye.